Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rise, Grind, Repeat. I'm Dustin Trout, and today we talked to By Ryan Window Tinting. So it's funny how we connected, just liked one of their posts on Instagram and started slid right into the DM and immediately started a meeting on coming together and doing a podcast. So they do window tinting for businesses, homes, and vehicles. And so really get into how they're reaching new people and how they're driving business. And one thing that's really interesting is what caught my eye is they were not selling, but all their stories were related to how window tinting can reduce overall cost in a business and a home and what you can do with that money. So they're doing something that we pitch quite a bit is not sell, but do more branding and show value. And so that's how we got connected. So it's a lot of good information on how to do localized marketing and really how to get from idea to formulating a strategy and executing on it. So lots of good information on really how to just create better content that isn't selling, that drives value, that leads into sales. And so let's jump right in. But create just more partnerships and long-term connections rather than trying to just maximize revenue.
Well, and that's always the smartest way to go. It's just the long term. That's the way we look at things. We always, we try to maximize in the long term, not so much just get it all up front, because I think people respect that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you could totally see it. I mean, when it all comes down to the intent. Like, what's your why and why are you doing it? And if it is just to buy Maseratis and Lamborghinis, then go with it. But it's I don't know. My dad was a small business person in between his two retirements, and so. After watching how hard he worked and everything like that, it's small businesses are the backbone of America. And
they
it's
are.
Like with today's digital world and analytics and everything, it's amazing what you can do when it's done right. I mean, sure, it's not done overnight, but there's a ton of opportunity out there and just how you can communicate digitally and kind of I love what you guys are doing just from some of the different things that you guys are posting with instead of just saying, hey, buy from us, but
bringing value.
Exactly.
That's really the key. And, I come from kind of the digital marketing world too.
Oh, do you?
But I wasn't, I never worked for an agency. I've started, a smaller agency, but I do notice exactly what you're saying is so many, like small business is really, it is the heart of America and really the world. But we're here, so we'll just talk about here. But so many people just try to capitalize on small business, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, I want people to feel like family. I don't want them to feel like we're just trying to take advantage of them because we're small business and we know, like, we get it, People try to capitalize on us and we're like, oh, no, it's
Yep.
Yeah, no.
What'd you do in digital marketing?
I do design a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I can do website and things, but I got to the point where I like to be out more. I like to sell. I like to, so I've kind of strayed away from it, but I still take clients here and there that I'm willing to pass on to other people who are credible and will take care of them.
So are you guys doing the window stuff together and then you kind of take on some side stuff? And
but we're 100% window. If we get clients, then I'll outsource them because I have a couple of people that I'll outsource to.
Nice. What made you guys start the window business?
Well, in Pennsylvania, where I came from, automotive shop. We did cars and stuff like that. We would do some residential and commercial stuff, but when we came here, we just pretty much came here for new things. Came here and there's a ton of window tint places. Great, they do great work and stuff like that. But as you know, Phoenix is so big. The valley's huge. There's no way that we can do it all. So we just it was something that I knew. They say stick with what you know, and that's what I knew. And I knew that there was great opportunity here for it. So I said, why not? Let's just start it. It started with we used to have a Durango, and we just threw on the back of it real nice perforated vinyl by Ryan window tint that she designed, and we would get phone calls like crazy.
Really?
And it was crazy. I mean, we would stop at a parking lot of Fry's and people would be like, "Can I have your card?" I was like, "Man, there's window tint shops on every corner you turn. How don't you know of these places?" And there's some great ones. I mean, there's great window shops everywhere, but you can't do it all.
Yeah.
So there's so many cars here. These guys stick with cars. Then there's your commercial window tinters that do the big buildings down on the lake and stuff. And then you have the residential market. And there's not many people that do residential. So that's more what we're going for. Cars, don't get me wrong, I love cars. We both love cars.
Yeah.
But the automotive window tinting it's a tough market.
It's
Cars
super
are
saturated,
changing
especially here in Phoenix. I mean,
cars are changing. I mean, you're talking about a Tesla Model 3 right now with a back window that you have to use a piece of window film that's 60 inches wide.
Wow.
And almost 8 feet. Is it 8 feet?
About.
8 or 9
wow.
feet long, and you have to shrink. The back window's huge. And then you have the Model X, that the back window of the Model 3 is the front windshield of the Model X. It takes 2 people to do that car.
Wow.
So the technology's changing so much. I mean, some cars have dual pane glass now.
Really?
So you have to be careful what kind of window tint you put up there. It's changing so much. So we're starting to focus more on the commercial and residential stuff.
And there's a lot of shops, like, they'll capitalize on that, like, on the ever-changing technology and vehicles, you know? Like, they really know how to, like, capitalize on it, but for us in the direction, you know, being from the automotive world, it was just like...
It's opportunity cost. I mean, it's if that's your lane and you want to stay in it, keep up on all that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, well, one, there's a ton of competition, and if there's not so much on the residential side, that's a ton of opportunity to kind of maybe shift and not have to spin the wheels as hard to try and keep up on the... Yeah, my brother, he does windshield repair, works for Safe Light, and so he goes... The newer car, it's insane. It's like you get the older cars, it's all pretty much the same, but these newer, it's like it's almost like there's more instructions for each one because it's
cars are changing. So the technologies, it's crazy. They're changing.
What are some of the changes that
I've noticed?
Is it just the size, or is it like?
No, it's the size. I mean, we'll go back to Tesla. I mean, that's the hot car out right now. You know. You can't get water. A lot of these, when you use water and soap, and you use it to rinse off the window, you can't get water down in the dash of that car.
Digital.
Makes sense. It's all electric.
It's all electric. You can take that risk, but
wow. So I was gonna say then.
Anybody that understands.
So have insurance premiums kind of gone up with the?
That's another reason why we want to get out of automotive. It's just the liability factor because the cars. Yeah, even like I think even like back in 2015 when it really started like really changing, like the big screens. I mean, like things that people would pay to get aftermarket, you know, now come in, you know, just from the factory. And now even just a factory radio, if you damage that, that's like really expensive.
Really?
So for us, it was
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize the radio of a car is running the whole car. Not the whole. I shouldn't say the whole car.
Really? Is it pretty much the brain kind of?
Yeah, it's like like the Tesla. That's. Have you ever sat in one or been in one or anything?
I haven't sat in one.
It's a great car.
Really cool.
It's really weird.
It's like a ride.
Really?
One, there's no engine noise. You're used to
that would be
noise.
weird.
None.
That would be
Two,
weird.
there's nothing in the car. A screen.
Yeah.
If you took a big iPad and
that is crazy.
set it up on the dash, that's what it looks like.
That is crazy.
Steering wheel, seats, and that's it.
It's weird.
So you can't, and that's what I'm talking about. Stuff is changing. You know, that car, it will drive itself. You know, before you know it, everyone else is going to have that. That's more sensors, more cameras.
More things to go
wrong. So the automotive part, they always say, don't ever forget where you came from. That's where I started window tinting, and I will still do cars for people that I know and stuff like that. But I don't want it to be...
We'll see how that trends.
I don't want it to be our main...
Yeah, this is your lane. This is
right,
who you guys are.
Not only that, but like when you get into those Teslas, it's like you kind of miss the like loud roar of an exhaust.
So my first car was a 67 Mustang, and my dad is an old classic car person, so that's the biggest thing is like you see all these muscle cars, but there's not that.
Yeah.
You can feel it in here.
Like
yeah.
Oh my god, like, woo. You know, like the Hellcat or something. So
you could put it on the radio.
Like you know you're saving money when you drive a Tesla. No.
But you know they're a lot of fun. It's a challenge.
How long have you guys been trying to get into the residential side of things?
So
we've been in it
fun.
years.
Yeah, we've been in it for years.
But we've been hammering at it now. So
Gotcha. So whenever you mean hammering, like what have you guys been doing? Like the thing that caught my eye was the whole keep your kids safe and, and that blog that's coming out. It's a very different approach than we do. Windows come by from us. So like, what are you guys doing to hammer that out?
That's the thing about window tint. That's why we don't sell you window tint. We educate you on it. And the reason I say it that way is because when people think of window tint, they think of a car and black windows. Mm-hmm. That's what they think of.
Yeah.
Window tint has so many more benefits than that. And a lot of people ask, well, why do you do window tint? Well, it's a great market. And number two, you help a lot of people. I just tinted a Ford Explorer, a newer one, and a truck for a lady and a husband. The lady has MS. She can't be out in the sun. When she goes out in the sun, she has to be protected at all aspects of her life.
I never even thought about that.
So window tint, was more expensive window tint, keeps her safe. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have to wear her sunglasses in the car as much now because we put a windshield tint on and helps that. So
perfectly clear.
Yeah, it's perfectly clear. So like in your door there, that's window tint. Well, that's decorative window tint.
That's all that is?
That's
all
glass.
that is.
I thought it was.
Oh, is it?
It's etched
okay,
glass.
so that's it.
But,
I could do the same thing with a piece of window tint. Yeah. So there's plotters and there's things that can cut it out to do that. Mm-hmm. We can do that. Yeah, we just left the house that a couple's looking for privacy. They don't want anything really dark. They don't want anything that has a real reflective look to it because residential and commercial films, they look like the State Farm buildings down there on the lake there. They have that real reflective look. HOAs don't allow that. So to give them privacy, we're giving them something that looks just like that. It's called white frost. So there's so many different, I mean, I have window tint that when you're looking at it straight, you can't see what's on the other side. But if you tilt
and it's not all blacked out? That is crazy.
If you tilt your head 15 degrees, you can see perfectly on what's on that side.
What does that?
It's just the window film companies.
It's really a science.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that part. But then you have your dark window films, and you have, I mean, I could print whatever you want on your film. I can cut out whatever design you want in your film. I can do anything with it.
Yeah, so. and then back to the safety factor. It like with the kids, you know, that's really a huge thing. Is people don't think about it because they think right when they move into a home, they'll think about blinds, they'll think about you know shades, different things. But that's actually one of the most dangerous things in a home, you know, because of the cords and because of the choking hazards and I mean sense. Kids can literally hang themselves and I mean I don't recommend Googling it but you could Google it and actually it's reported every year about like 200 kids have died just from blinds.
That's crazy. I mean I don't have kids so that's not something I think about but as I saw that and I was discussing with my wife, like, oh, it's cool they're doing stuff like this, it got me thinking, I was like, oh, well, is there anything with, like, the thickness of the glass to like, if it's just...
It depends, I mean, and our products, too, I mean, the thickness can vary just depending on which way we decide to go, but, that can always matter, too, and play a role, so... we'll identify glass, we'll see, we'll basically do a consultation and we'll check out the glass and see, you know, what the best way to go for that person is because really everybody's different.
Yeah, you can't just smack a piece of window tint up on any piece of glass. A lot of people tend to think that. You have to know whether it's single pane, dual pane windows because dual pane they have a gas in between them. And if you put up the wrong window film, it will blow out the gaskets that separate those two and you can have all kinds of issues. So when we come to someone's house for an estimate, we don't just say, oh yeah, this is what we're going to put up. We have to evaluate that glass to see if we can use this. Our window film companies say, yes, you can use this.
Wow, it absorbs heat.
Oh, so there's a lot of and we handle all that. That's what we call a consultation because we have to make sure that what we're putting up there for you is going to be of value for you.
Have you ever put a hot what is it, like a baking pan, like the glass baking pans? Have you ever put it on a hot stove?
Haven't.
You've done it?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
It exploded.
Yeah.
It exploded.
Really?
It can kill you.
Oh yeah.
It can
It
kill
just
you.
the heat.
It's just it goes in shards everywhere. It's probably like a bomb in like Iraq. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like that's what they use. But it can literally like pierce your skin. It could kill you.
Does it just cause? Is there like?
It's like a bullet.
Does it just cause pressure in between and
Yeah,
then the
and it
heat
just-
and then
Yeah.
it
Boom.
just
It
explodes?
explodes. So it's kind of the same concept. Is the heat in the glass? If it heats up too hot, that thing can blow up.
I'll
That's
never forget
insane.
that. I took one out of the oven before and set it up on the stove.
my
and she's
God.
like, "Oh my God, don't do that!" I'm like, "What?"
Scares me. I'm like, oh
She goes hitting the deck.
well, because it's happened to me before, and it's the loudest, most. Oh my God, it's scary. It is scary. I was like, thank God I wasn't near it, but it was just everywhere. It was a bomb.
That I mean that would not be fun to get hit in the eye.
And that's the other thing, like
If
going
you ever
back
want
to
to set anybody up, that would be the way to do it.
going back to the window tint thing. You know, we like the security film. Going back to the security film. We have, you asked about the different thickness.
Mm-hmm.
Window tint is usually about 2 mils thick or less sometimes, which is about a post-it note, maybe 2 post-it notes.
Oh, wow.
I have security film that's 4 mil, 8 mil, 12 mil. The higher the number, the thicker it is. So I can't make glass bulletproof, but I can make it to where nobody can get in.
Yeah.
And when I say no one can get in, they can beat on the window with a hammer and do whatever they want. Once they break the glass, they can't physically push it in.
So you can do all that just through the tint?
Just with window
That's
tint.
insane.
Yeah, just with tint.
I mean, already in the last like 10 minutes, I've learned so
It's
much.
thick.
Yeah,
I mean,
So like our one window tint company has a machine that they use to test this stuff. They have a piece of glass. It's like 12 by 12, and they shoot out 2x4s at 600
Wow.
miles per hour into
Wow.
it
That is-
like a hurricane.
That'd be a
Make
cool
things
video to
blow
watch.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Well, it's really
pretty neat.
good for
Yeah.
different weather conditions. So
Yeah.
like
See, I thought that was done
Florida
through the glass. I didn't know that was done through the actual tint.
You can, but even doing
What's
both.
the cost?
Yeah,
of-
and that is really a factor too. Is the cost and the difference in price, but. Like people on golf courses flying golf balls,
yeah. First time I went golfing, literally got up on hole 1 and it had been 10 years and ball probably went 40 yards in front, but a good like 150 shanked it
I think
right
our
through
blog
the window.
says something about that is the first time golfers on the golf course.
Yeah. We've gotten some calls for that before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
So it's like it's just one of those things where we like don't know why we're so interested in it. You know what I mean? Because it's like window film. It's like
Yeah.
why would it be so exciting?
But I could see it to where it comes from the education piece where it's someone
Yeah.
has a kid and doesn't even know the factors into it. Whenever you get the,
Yeah.
oh wow, you helped me with how I feel
Yeah.
inside or anything like that.
Right.
Like that right there could be where
Yeah.
the
Like think about if you have kids and you have a swimming pool at home and there's glass. What's right by everyone's swimming pool?
actually just
Glass.
had someone.
What happens if one breaks?
Yeah, just actually had knew someone that happened to, and unfortunately their kid fell in the pool and
wow.
didn't make it. But
yeah, I've heard a lot of
yeah,
those stories too.
it's
Yeah, the glass breaking going in the
Yeah.
pool, that's something you don't have to
and
deal
see,
with.
whenever I
that,
first saw that with the baby on the
Yeah.
glass, and you guys are talking about the block, that's what I
Yeah.
thought is
Yeah.
maybe you guys do something to where it
Yeah.
doesn't break as easy. Where
Yeah.
one, then
Oh,
you don't have the
yeah.
cuts.
any kind of window tint we use, it will hold the glass together, and it does make it harder to break.
Gotcha.
Like
So
we
what-
have ways that we can prep a piece of glass that will make it 10 times stronger than what it already is, just with a liquid.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing is like a lot of other companies, they don't prep glass. So we do prep glass and it does help the strength of the window.
Why do you guys do that?
Strength.
Just
Just strength.
Yeah.
Because
why don't other companies do it? Just the cost?
just the
I think they don't know about
they
it.
don't know about the education aspect of it. See,
Gotcha.
we're big on learning.
It's
Like-
knowledge is power. Knowledge
Yes.
is everything.
Because
Knowledge
we
is
didn't
power.
always
Yes.
know
Yeah.
about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
We
So-
didn't always know about that. And then we learned about it. We're like,
The
wow.
one thing that we're big on is relationships, and we have great relationships. I will never bash another window tint company because I was
That's
once
awesome.
where they started.
Yeah.
I will. That you can learn something from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I
learned.
love
I
that.
learned this from somebody. When they told me this, I was like,
We looked at each
What?
other. I was like,
"There's no way." way. You can't. I've been in this industry a pretty long time. Never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
That's just a sales tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the videos on this stuff, and it's a proven.
Wow.
It's a proven system.
Yeah.
And that's the things that set people apart is the knowledge. You know.
Yep.
In anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first got into this, it was just as an operator, and then got into like cold calling, doing it. Basically, someone signed up for a Google Maps. And this was 2010, so not long after the 2008 crash, when I mean, marketing budgets still weren't. I mean, coming back, and so, but I learned that through that. It wasn't the, hey, you need digital, do this, and selling, but it was, hey, what are you doing from a communication standpoint from your business, and more coming on the education. Oh, well, you're trying to do this. Have you thought about doing this or this? And basically, instead of trying to sell, just hear what are pain points are you going through, and this is the value that it can bring. If you see it, awesome. If not, then,
Yeah.
And it goes back to the education piece, and that's,
people respect that.
Yeah, the knowledge is everything, and bringing the value. If we can't bring you value, we're going to tell you, hey, this is a better option for you. Like an example is a big apartment complex down in Phoenix. They have, just imagine 2 buildings, a building here, a big space. When I say big space, I'm talking like 50 yards. And then another building. They have turf in the middle. The sun is going to the window, then going to the next window, and going to the turf and melting it.
Wow.
You know, when you take a magnifying glass to the sun and you create that hot spot, the same thing is happening. We had no idea if we could help these people. We called another company. They educate us on the product. We're going to help them out. But let's say that we knew that what we were going to do wasn't going to help them. We're not going to sell them something just to make a quick buck.
You have to be willing to walk away.
Yeah.
And that comes with the value. Like, you gotta give value, but that also means that sometimes you can't always give value, and you have to walk away. And that's one thing that we've always done, is if we cannot help them, we will tell them.
And that's going to help you guys go so much further, because like we were just talking about earlier, how many agencies just go after that short-term dollar and blah, like by doing that, I mean, the word will get out, and then like if you're in this for a long run, longer than a year or two, which I'm assuming most people start a business for that, I mean, it just helps exponentially. Just from a PR standpoint, people will just talk good about you, and hey,
they respect you. They're like, these people didn't just try to come in and, you know, everybody wants to make money. We all want to make money. Come on. We're all in business to make money. But I think the people who focus on money ultimately lose.
Yep. Yeah. Or always just chasing their tail and exhausted.
They lose.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing? I've learned a ton in the last 10, 15 minutes already. What are you guys doing to get all this out there? I know that you guys mentioned that you guys are starting a podcast, which I absolutely love, because you tell a business to start it and everyone's like, well, we have nothing to talk about. What do we...
You have everything to talk about.
You get so stuck in the day-to-day of it just goes to, what are some of the questions your salespeople get? I'm sure you get the same questions over and over. So what are some of the things that you guys do to get you guys out there?
We do everything. I mean, we don't leave anything unturned. So we do door-to-door sales. We get out, we meet people, we talk to people, we figure out what kind of issues they're having, and from there we do consultations. So we do a lot of the door-to-door stuff, which is still working. Anybody who doesn't do door-to-door, I think, is crazy. But a lot of digital media, social media is huge right now. I mean, if anybody is not using social media, they are absolutely insane. It's just such an unbelievable tool. I feel like I'm ripping somebody off because of how much we get out of it, and it's crazy. That's such a great way to network, like us. And some of the other ways were, mailers, direct mailers, those are still in style, but we do focus on targeting. We don't just throw everything out there, and, we try to target and we try to pre-qualify as much as we can without actually, physically going to the home or the business. But that, cold calling,
What's been the most successful channel?
Social media.
Yeah, the social media and door-to-door. both, I think, between those two. And if we visit a place of business and we follow up through social media and we actually put ourselves in front of them and say, hey, look at us, this is who we are, this is what we're doing. I know, today you were, doctors, for instance, they're really busy people. They can't always just step out and talk to us about their windows. They have an open patient on their table. They can't do that. So a lot of doctors, you just kind of learn the behavior patterns of certain professionals and when they're on social media, who manages their social media. And one thing I've noticed, especially on Instagram and Facebook, is that at night, these doctors, they want their business and their practices to thrive. So at night, they're managing their social media. So if I can't get in front of them in the daytime, I always follow up through social media because I know it's them on there. And then from there, I can kind of do a couple questions. Well, hey, when's a better time for you? And then usually they'll follow up on like Sundays and things when they have downtime.
Smart.
So you have, like I try to really strategically plan it because you have to learn who your customer is. You have to learn how they're using social media, kind of what their day looks like if you want to be successful at it. And that's what has really, really worked for us. I mean, we went from 0, we'll say like 75. I don't even think we're at 100 yet, but we moved a lot quicker by doing that.
Nice. And are you guys doing just organic posts, or are you guys putting any money behind any of the social?
We did a lot of paid ads through Instagram and Facebook. For us, I didn't feel like it was as effective for us doing the ads. I feel like it was, we weren't getting the return that we really wanted on it. Now you can get the followers and things like that, but I really wanted to turn those people into customers because ultimately that was the goal. And as far as turning them into paying customers, it wasn't where it was at for us. And not to say that that's not going to be effective in the future, but right now it wasn't. So the best thing for us is to get out, spread the buzz on who we are. We're here, follow us on social media, get them to like our page and engage with them on their social media, and then maybe take on a campaign later on down the road. But the direct message has been where it's been at for us, is direct messaging, and I get blocked.
Hey, if you don't get blocked, you're not trying.
If you don't get blocked, you're not trying. It's just like if you're not getting kicked out of places, you're not trying. So that has really, really helped. And I send very short messages. I don't go on this long little tangent because I see a lot of people do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like I don't have time to read this.
Exactly it. The long form, I don't understand that.
No.
I mean, it's good in certain spots. I mean, if you've already had someone a little bit further in the funnel and they're willing to, you have their engagement, but first time people, it's like they see that, no, I'll check it later.
Because I try to engage as much as possible. I try to get back to everybody. I try to read everything. And that's the thing. You have to know your people. You have to know who you're dealing with. Doctors or whoever your ideal customer is, they don't always have time to read your huge novel on your business. Not that it's not interesting. It's like we're taking care of kids, we're driving, we're trying to figure out what we're going to eat for lunch, in the 5 minutes that we do have. So I think about those things when I'm posting and when I'm growing our social media, and I just try to engage. And I think that the DM is where it's at.
You definitely come from a marketing background.
I can
hear it.
I try to get in as many DMs as I can.
But I mean,
she's the marketing
within reason.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, 10 years ago, I mean, you had to always go through a gatekeeper before you can even get to a decision maker with the power of
social media. They are the gatekeepers, and that's what I tell like him and our new people. I'm like, they are the gatekeepers. They're there. They want to control that space, and they do.
Yeah,
I mean, you have the most successful people. I mean, we're big Grant Cardone followers.
Love that.
Yeah.
Anytime someone comments or leaves a message on his thing, he answers.
Oh yeah,
that guy is worth what? Billions.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time to be on there, but he makes it a point.
Oh, his
the
wife
live videos, his stuff, and Elena too, and then you got Andy Frisella and you got Gary V.
Yeah.
If you see that someone leaves a comment,
you better reply.
the next comment is their reply.
Yeah.
I mean, I've messaged. I was in a one-on-one with Sean Whalen. I was going through something personal in my life, and I just, out of the blue, I was like, you know what? This guy went through the same thing. Let me message him. And I had a full-on conversation with him.
And he put you in your place.
And he kind of told me, look, this is how it is, buddy. If you don't like it, don't message me anymore. And so I kind of took what he said.
But it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so... just as everybody has the new iPhone or the new Android, everyone has an Instagram or Facebook.
Exactly.
And when I see these businesses going down the road, because we're big on when we're in a
Let's look 'em up.
Let's look them up on Instagram. Let's shoot them a message, and they're not on there. I'm like, man, that's an
so much
extra
opportunity.
$5,000 you're probably losing every single month.
Yeah.
And you don't know about it. Whether you don't know or you just don't know how it works.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, just the opportunity that we live in now compared to 10, 15 years ago is insane. Like
it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get that exposure, it's like it used to cost. Stuff like this, like even getting a podcast or video, like it. In terms of production and getting it out there, I mean, it just used to cost so much money.
Right.
And now it's the barrier to entry is so low.
Yeah.
I mean,
people used to have to like rent studios and mics and at local stations and things to do stuff like this.
And then to even get it out there on the airwaves, I mean, the local FM, and even then you're only reaching a local audience, where it's like now you just throw it up on SoundCloud or something and you have the world that you can potentially reach.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. But I love it. I love engaging with people. Like some people, they don't engage, and I like to engage because I'm like, I'm a real person. I'm real. Yeah. Like, I have feelings, So I try to engage as much as possible. So
how do you guys plan your door to door? Because that's always interested me. Because FaceTime is always good. But people could end up spinning their wheels just. Finding no ROI in it. So how have you guys done it successfully?
Well, how we plan our door-to-door is we get our shoes on and we go. And it doesn't matter. Yeah. We don't sit and think about, okay, if we go to 50 houses, we might get one. Or, we don't think about it like that. Because I think when people really start to, overthink it, they talk themselves out of it. Because door-to-door is scary to begin with. I don't care who you are. Walking into a business, and especially if your clientele is really, really high-end or very, credible professionals, it can be really intimidating. Especially if you're just starting. So I try not to overthink it. And we did for a long time. We would sit there and be like, we would think about it.
You go. No.
I'll go. Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
And then now we are just like, who cares? Just go. Don't overthink it. Don't plan it. Just know who your customer is and who you cater to the most or who you want to cater to. And you go into that market. But to sit there and strategically plan it on, okay, I'm going to do, no, just we get our, one thing that I really like that we do is I'll get my stack of brochures or flyers and some sort of informational just pamphlet or whatever. And then put our business cards in there. And I'll say, okay, we got 50 of these. So by the end of today, we need to get rid of all of these. And that can be anywhere, So I went into a business one day and I gave it to the owner, and then a customer who was sitting there eating, she was like, can I have one? And so it was just, okay, well so at the end of the day, it really is a numbers game. But if we get caught in those numbers,
dwelling on the numbers,
it really can give you anxiety.
Yeah. Well, because looking at the numbers specifically, you're set up to fail. I mean, you're really only going to succeed what percentage of the time? I mean, it's single digits probably.
And you're going to suck at it in the beginning. Everything. Nobody's good at it. You just have to go. I think that was one of our downfalls is we wanted everything to be so I at least did.
Perfect.
Well, he was actually a little bit better at it.
Said that.
Yeah, he was actually a little bit more open-minded than I was. And then I was like, no, it has to be like this. People are expecting this and it can't, and like you feel like you have to have everything in place first.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the biggest lie that you could tell yourself because it really just holds you back.
I'm so big on that right now just because it's perfection over speed is like not getting to market is what's killing.
It holds you
so much opportunity where it's like even though it's not 100%, it'll still look great at 80, but now maybe you can produce two things at 80 and those two things because there's a little bit of difference. You just look bigger, the perception. You're bigger brands, you have more out there.
We were just having that conversation on the way here. I was at a buddy's house watching a football game yesterday and I'm so sick of being an employee, man. I had an opportunity come by me to do something with a blind company, actually be an owner of it. I said, do it. You're probably going to completely mess it up. I didn't say mess, I said something else. But you're completely going to screw it up. Do it.
Yeah.
You're still young enough that when you completely fail at it, next time you're going to know what to do and what not to do. Mm-hmm. No college education. None.
I love that.
None.
Yeah.
No, just going out there and doing it.
Yeah.
Now, my family was entrepreneurs and stuff like that. My grandfather knows a thing or two about business. Mm-hmm. I had him to go to. Watching, like I said, Grant Cardone and these guys, and I didn't start doing that until I had met Jenna.
I was like, you need to watch this guy.
How long did you guys...
just fail at it. And you'll learn. I mean, it's not going to be perfect.
Up a lot.
It's not going to be. You have to screw it up to learn.
Exactly.
How do they teach doctors how to do this stuff? They screw up.
Just on not real life people, but
and that's how they learn. But that's how we look at it.
That's been the biggest thing here is like I know the digital, like the placing of the ads, the analytics, but like the video production, all that stuff. I mean,
trying to perfect
I didn't know that, but it's I knew that if we sat here and just tried to discuss process and all that, that it would just take longer to go. And it's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Here, we got to fold down the books. We're just going to pound through it. And then as we hear what it does and how it sounds, and I mean, over the months, you just get better. But you're
going to tweak it. And that's the thing. It's like, you can even scroll back on our Instagram and look at our content, like, from a while back. Mm-hmm. It has improved drastically from the design to the content itself, But can you imagine if we just sat there and waited for it to get better, like, to be 100%? No, you tweak it along the way, and you figure out what works, and you figure out what doesn't work, and you don't just dwell on it. And I mean that would keep me up at night. I'm like, oh my god, that looks terrible, or oh my god, that sounded terrible, I can't believe I said that, why did I do that? Like you beat yourself up so hard. But then a year from now you're like, oh,
you look back and go, oh wow, that one decision didn't kill me. In fact, I learned this. And then you can start seeing a change.
Or if you didn't make that huge screw up, you wouldn't even be where you are.
Exactly.
There are so many things we messed up so bad, and we won't even talk about them because it's so embarrassing. But we messed up so bad, like just terrible. And, it's like, well, if we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah. It's all about not getting discouraged, getting back up on the horse and just going after again, knowing that you're going to fail again in X amount of days.
Right. Well, that's like the door-to-door thing. Mm-hmm. I used to lose sleep at night.
Really?
I can't believe I got to get up tomorrow and go and do this. And I didn't have to. Like, this was our business. We didn't have to, but we know we have to do whatever it takes.
Yep.
Now, it's like, I can't wait to get up in the morning and go.
Yeah.
And today, we got rejected a couple times. A dentist was like, look, we're not interested. No big deal. I'm not interested in getting my teeth cleaned all the time either, but I gotta do it. So, but it's just kind of like, she no interest. No big deal.
And it's okay.
We go and write 10 estimates. We don't get any of them. No big deal. Is it discouraging? Yeah, I'm a human being. It is. Especially when you got a job that you're like, I get excited about doing things. Some of the jobs that we do, they're fun. The people that I get they're cool. And when we don't get it, it's like, dang it. Like, that's discouraging. Maybe you want me to get up in the morning tomorrow and go do it all over again. But now it's like,
after
at the end of the day, it's a numbers game.
Yeah, and after a while, people will start calling you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it's going now. But, like, you have to fall on your face first.
Well, because the more you put yourself out there, someone, even if they don't want, is going to see your hustle and what you're doing, and then all of a sudden they're having a cup of coffee and someone goes, oh man, I've been thinking, oh well, have you seen these guys?
And that's happened so many times, you know? What was it? Oh, you know what I think too? I think, and I've learned this a lot more, and I thought about this the other day, is that, you know, anybody who is successful or wants to be successful goes through that rough patch really bad. Like, you know, whether it's, you know, I mean, you basically go through breakups, you go through not knowing when you're going to eat your next meal.
Yeah.
You go through the financial hardship. Your family's like, what are you doing? You know, you go through all of these ups and downs. But I've learned, especially through, I like to call it prospecting and networking, but through that, I think anybody out there who has gone through that, those are the people that you want to do business with. And those are the people that we end up doing business with because they respect us so much. They respect that hustle. They respect that grind. And there's a million other, you know, companies that do what we do. But for the simple fact that we get out there and we go and we shake people's hands and we meet them and we take that rejection, I think that that's just as much of the reason on why we're winning, because we are willing to go through that, and eventually you're going to come in contact with the people who are kind of like the same breed as you, who have gone through that, and you're like, oh my god, my people, you know what I mean? Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And that's like, because we've gone through so much like of that like crappy phase where you're just around rejection, and then now we're around people who are like, when they've won, you know, and we're like kind of in that clique, and we're like, all right, you know, it's kind of getting to be a little nice.
That's cool.
And then they talk about their stories on when they had to do it, and we're like, oh my god, like we knew all along this really was the recipe, like this is really what it took. And we didn't realize how hard it really is.
Yeah. Well, the ordinary person sees what you have now. I don't care about what you have now. I want to see and know what you went through to get what you have now. Because
I love the stories.
I've been there where we've had to like not go get dinner. We had to go to Walmart and buy the little pieces of chicken. We've been there. Like, I'll talk about that. But
it was so shitty.
The risk is worth the reward.
It's funny that you mention that because it's kind of, I mean, that's real. So this really had the idea and got it going about a year ago, but recently got married 4 months ago, and trying to work full time while trying to grow this while preparing for a wedding. And it's funny because I actually had someone working full time before I even moved full time, so it was like, how do I communicate with this full time worker? I mean, there was a lot of video conferences and chats.
That's cool.
But going through it, it's like once I got through the wedding and made the full time jump. The last 3 months has been, I mean, it's a lot of figuring out process, and it's finally, I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like all the conversations are just getting easier, but going through the learning phase, I mean, it's just a constant, I mean,
it's just patience. That's all you have to do.
And knowing that tomorrow could be the day that...
Yes. It could be right there, you know, and it's just being patient. You know, we used to get so frustrated, you know, but it's almost like, you know, you're like between a rock and a hard place, and you're just trying to like position yourself. You're like, oh, if I could just get through this, you know, and then something else, but you just have to be super patient. And time's gonna go by, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be alive anyway, and like the day's gonna go. It's I mean, you can't always guarantee on that.
But that's why you have to make the best of it too. Yeah. You know, because you don't ever know.
Speed in the micro, patience in the macro.
There you go.
Well, my thing was always patience. I was always super.
It's amazing how how much patience. It's like it's a weird thing. I mean, I've played sports, but it's always a weird thing to go. If you go slower, you'll go quicker. It's a very weird.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the thing. We're all about long-term thinking. Like, we have deals that come across us all the time. And it's like, well, if we do that, it might help us short term, but if we do it this way, it will help us long term. Before, younger years, I was like, dive all in, baby.
What's going to be more money tomorrow?
Not now. You can't do that now. It's you know, once you get to a certain point and you hit a certain age, you kind of start to get it.
That's
Yeah.
like you want a new truck, and he's like,
Yeah.
nah.
Right. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I want no car payment.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, and you probably get it too, the biggest thing is when we talk about all the time is partnership. Not many people can work together. We go to bed together, we wake up together, we eat lunch together, we eat dinner together. We do
Wow.
together.
Yeah.
It's always together. Do we always have our little moments? Of course we do. But it doesn't turn into
Yeah.
fight after fight.
Yeah.
There's going to be things we disagree on. Like, I might want to do it this way, you might want to do it that way. But the biggest thing is partnership. And once again, going back to them, Grant and Elena Cardone taught us that.
That's awesome.
It's the same for them.
Yeah.
When did you guys start working together?
Day one.
Day one?
It was
Day
weird.
one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Super
were
weird.
just two people who wanted the same things.
That's cool.
If you find two people that want the same
Exactly.
thing, and you can put that together,
Yeah.
there's nothing that can stop you.
I guess we had different visions of like, or I guess different roadmaps on how we were gonna get there, but like we ultimately wanted the same thing.
Well, the thing that we're good at is we know our roles. Like marketing,
Self-awareness
you notice
is
how when
huge.
you ask a marketing question, what I do? That's not me. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But when
That
it
was
comes
hard.
to putting up a piece of window tint,
Yeah.
it's the same way. It's how, and you have to know your roles. Like,
I know how to
So
put up a piece of
self-awareness, I mean,
window
it's
tint.
huge. Knowing
Oh,
what
yeah.
knowing what you're good at, and then
Yep.
what you're not.
Yeah.
Who can do it well, so
Right.
that
Right.
we can bring my strength,
Right.
their strength
Yeah.
together
Right.
to create one cool thing.
And that is hard to do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
easy, but like, even today we were out on Estimate, beautiful home, probably one of the most beautiful homes we've been to up in Scottsdale. I don't even-
Scottsdale Mountain.
beautiful community. And we were trying to figure out the best option for them, and I was like, and he was suggesting things, and I was like, I was like, no, I don't think that's the way to go. And then I'm like, should I chime in? Should I not? You know? And so I had to chime in because I knew, and then when I chimed in, it ended up being the ultimate final decision. So
Seeing as a man, you have to know that the woman's right 99% of the time.
Yeah, so I mentioned four months into being married. I'm learning that very quickly.
yeah, you just kind of
Listen,
have
the
to.
quicker you learn that, the smoother it will go.
Your life will be a lot easier.
Just
Yeah.
if she's wrong, you just gotta get to be like,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, we will point out each other, like, he'll be like, no, you know, and you won't budge, and then I'll say no, and I won't budge, so you do have to respect each other's
If someone asked me what was the toughest part, I'd say
thoughts.
that's it.
That's it right there.
That's